Welcome to Out of the Stacks with Carla and Amanda, where we talk about books and the literary world.
Then we'll visit the past with things from our childhood. There may be a rant or two, but we promise you laughs and a good time. Welcome, everybody. We are in... Okay, sorry. Let's start that again. That was a good start. Okay, well, I'll save it. Welcome, everybody. Jesus. Maybe you should start it. Okay, you can start it.
Welcome, everyone. It's the end of 2020.
Yes.
Congratulations.
We've made it. Congratulations. We've made it.
Ourselves. There's still 12 days left.
There are. I mean, it could be the end of the world in 11 days. You never know.
That's fine.
I doubt it, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it's been one hell of a year. 9 months.
Yeah.
I feel like the 2020 has started in March. I don't comprehend the first 3 or 2 months, I guess.
I don't think those counted.
I don't remember January and February.
I don't either.
So the world started in March.
I did some fun things.
I would think so.
I found a ticket stub the other day for a movie theater.
Yes.
That allegedly I went to in January.
What's a movie theater?
I'll take you sometime.
Okay. I'm excited. A whole new experience.
So we're trying to do today a positive podcast.
Yes. The year in review.
A year in review, the best of.
Yeah.
Various things.
Yeah.
That we did, consumed, whatever, this year.
Consumed.
Read, watched, listened to.
Ate.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't write down food.
Me neither. But we'll do that one on the fly.
Okay.
What was your best muffin?
No, I actually have an answer for this.
Oh.
So this year, my sisters and I, with the help of our parents, planted the biggest garden we've ever planted.
Nice.
Which involved, like, all the pumpkins.
The pumpkins.
I would say 2/3 of the garden was pumpkins. And my one sister planted pie pumpkins, which are little ones that are specifically for eating.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was a difference.
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah.
Oh.
And I was not involved in a large portion of this process other than baking muffins and eating them.
Mm-hmm.
But they baked the pumpkins. So you bake it like a squash, like you cut it in half, you scoop out the seeds, and you bake it on a sheet in the oven. And then you have soft pumpkin, but then you have to squeeze all the juice out of it, which, like, they just did by hand. We could really use a cider press, but those are expensive. But anyway, so the best muffin was, we looked up a recipe for pumpkin muffins, and there's one on the internet that's called, like, the best pumpkin muffin recipe ever, or something like that. It's really good.
So it lived up to its name.
It really did. I do recommend putting chocolate chips in them.
Always.
Yeah, the recipe doesn't call for that, but you should do it. So.
See, I love pumpkin everything. I'm a big pumpkin girl. I'm sorry, I'm a pumpkin spice bitch. I love it. Pumpkin spice is life for me. And I'm drinking a coffee with pumpkin spice creamer right now.
See, I'm not that person. My coffee always has chocolate in it. But the pumpkin muffins with the homegrown pumpkin, because, like, if you eat homegrown pumpkin, you'll probably never want to go back to canned pumpkin again. For one thing, homegrown pumpkin doesn't have sand in it. You know?
Like, oh, wow. That sounds gross. No,
like,
you turned me off.
You can be eating something made with canned pumpkin, and then, that was
a grit. I understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought about it.
Yeah, I do. You didn't think I was going to have an answer for what my favorite muffin was, and I did.
You blew me out of the water, Carla. Wow.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite muffin?
I mean, I like a blueberry muffin, but I don't think I ever had a blueberry muffin this year.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I didn't eat muffins really this year. I mean, I might have, but
It's
my
been a long
mom
time.
made a really good cranberry orange um,
Oh,
loaf, like, you know, like a
yeah.
banana bread, but like a cranberry orange bread. Oh, and
Uh-huh.
it's so good. That cranberry orange, that's a
Yeah.
magical flavor. And it's, oh, I could shove a whole loaf in my mouth in like 5 seconds. Oh, it's
That is
amazing.
a really good combination.
It is. And she just like a couple days ago made cranberry orange. They're supposed to be shortbreads or
Hmm.
like shortbread. Yeah, I guess they're shortbreads, like little round shortbread cookies with the cranberry orange. And just the longer they sit like overnight or like throughout the week, that orange oil just like
Yeah.
strength. It's just to die for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with that orange cranberry flavor
Yeah.
and
You know what
just
you
that
should do?
yum. Just
You should really, here's my one of my favorite drinks of the year. Um, there is a ginger ale, cranberry ginger ale that you can buy this time of year.
oh yeah.
We've only found it in 2-liter bottles so far. Sometimes you can buy cans.
Yeah, I've
And
seen like during the holidays,
yeah, you
they
mix
do
that
the
with orange
cranberry.
juice.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that would be good.
Yeah,
It's
mix
like
it
a
with orange
holiday
juice.
punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It in previous years when you could go out in the world, I've gone to the Walnut Room in Chicago, in
Mm-hmm.
not that one department store anymore. It's now Macy's. Marshall Field.
Thanks.
Not Marshall Field.
Yeah.
But anyway, and they do a Christmas brunch and they have cocktails and one of them they call a poinsettia. It's like a mimosa but with cranberry.
Ooh.
And so this is like the non-alcoholic poinsettia.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be really good. Both
Yeah.
alcoholic and non-alcoholic would be
Correct. It is.
really good.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Ooh. Okay, well,
That
um,
was a nice impromptu
that
addition
was that was.
of food now.
Okay, let's start off like we usually do on books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
books.
So I had you pull up your Goodreads year in books
Yes.
so that we can compare. And the first thing it tells us is how many pages we read this year. So mine says I read 23,845 pages this year.
I didn't meet my goal, which was 36 books. I only
Mm,
read 30 books. Um, so my page number is low. It's
mm-hmm.
13,200, but there were
Yeah.
several months that I did not read.
Yeah. And I somehow, my goal was 55 books. I apparently read
Jesus,
63. But
that's a whole lot.
so I take into account that I am always reading a physical book and listening to an audiobook in the car.
Okay.
So that
Yeah,
kind of gives me an edge.
I did that in past years. I don't drive
Hmm.
anywhere pretty much, so I don't really do audiobooks anymore. I
Yeah.
miss doing audiobooks. I love audiobooks,
Hmm.
so
Yeah. Yeah. My longest book was 846 pages.
my longest book was 984 and
Whoa!
I just finished that on today is Friday. I finished that on Wednesday. That was my Sarah J. Maas Kingdom of Ash.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
last of the series.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was a hefty book. I
Yeah.
mean, I had to like force myself hours on end to get through. I mean, not that it was hard to get through, but just yeah, 984
It's a lot of
pages.
pages. It's like
A lot
reading
of
a book.
pages, and it was hard to hold up as
I
I was there.
know.
I was like, whew,
I
my
think
forearms were getting tired
I think
holding that
that's
up there.
one I just I ended up buying the Kindle version of that one
I should have. That was
because I couldn't like I tried reading it in bed and I was like I can't hold this.
yeah, it was really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mine was The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon,
yeah,
which was an interesting book.
was
Um,
it good?
yeah, oh yeah, it's good.
Okay. Interesting doesn't always mean good to me. It's interesting.
Well, it's fantasy and it has like a whole bunch of different elements and it's like completely unique. There are
Okay.
dragons and there's magic and there is a literal priory of an orange tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Okay. I made a list after looking at all the books I read this year. I made a list of the ones that were my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It ended up being a list of 9 books.
Mine are only 4, so you go ahead and do yours first.
Okay, I'll try to go through them quickly. The Ship of Brides by Jojo Moyes. It's I'll just try to give a quick description. World War II brides of British soldiers who they met in Australia. Like British soldiers who were stationed in Australia met these women and were engaged to them or married them, and then the British Navy shipped the brides to England after the war was over. So it's all about this adventure, like how they traveled from Australia to England, and like some of them didn't know what the heck they were getting into. It was really interesting. The Huntress by Kate Quinn, also World War II. Actually, most of it takes place after World War II, but it's about a spy and a Russian female pilot, and it's really interesting. The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This was possibly my favorite book that I read this year because it was just so refreshing. It's about two people who share a flat, but they never meet each other because one of them works days and one of them works nights. So they don't meet each other, but they share a flat and they share a bed. It's very interesting. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I don't know if there are a lot of people who didn't read that book. It's just very well written. Not a lot happens plot wise. It's about these two young people who date and then they break up and then they get back together and then they break up and then they get back, and it's just like going through their lives and they're constantly on and off. And Hulu made a television show about that book, and I've
Okay.
watched some of it. I haven't watched all of it because I'm kind of like stretching it out, making it last. The Cactus by Sarah Haywood. This, I think, was a Reese Witherspoon pick.
Yes.
It's a British rom com about. It's been a while. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I I can't remember all the details. It's a woman who's pregnant and she probably is like on the autism spectrum. I would say like she's a very logical black and white person. But she gets pregnant and she decides she's going to have this baby, and she's just very logical about everything, and of course another guy comes along and they fall in love. Okay. With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. She is a YA author that I'm really enjoying. She only has a couple of books, maybe 3 books so far. One that I haven't read yet is Clap When You Land, that was like one of the best books of the year. But With the Fire on High is about a teenage girl who wants to be a chef, but she's also a teenage mother. And so it's kind of her navigating what she wants to do with her life with what she thinks she should do with her life. This one was really, really good. I listened to it. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. She has written several fantasy. Uprooted was a big hit for her. A Deadly Education is about a magical school
Mm-hmm.
and called the Scholomance. And there are no teachers. It's just the students, but the school itself is kind of a sentient being, and a lot of the students die. Like it's really dangerous to be there, but they are there until graduation, and then graduation itself is like you can make it across this room to the door without dying. So it's really interesting. It's the start of a series. So I'm probably gonna have to wait a while for the next one. Our girl Sarah J. Moss,
Yep.
Crescent City. Crescent City is a new series. The title of the book is House of Earth and Blood. So in this city, Crescent City, there are different houses. So I'm guessing that the books in this series will all be named after the different houses. So this was House of Earth and Blood. It was also a doorstop. Like it was a big one.
Okay.
Let's see. It's 803 pages. But it was so worth it. Like it's so good. And then my last one is one that you recommended to me. I just finished it not that long ago. The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was good.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for those who aren't familiar with it, it is the story of Achilles and Briseis as told from the perspective of Briseis. So it's about like what happens to the women that the Trojan army, no, the Greek army, when the Greek army is pillaging all these towns and they're kidnapping the women, what are they doing with the women? And how do the women feel about that? So it's very fascinating.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, so yeah, I want more books like that. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is about like mythology retellings that just like, oh, they're good. Yeah.
Yeah, that one really, I read that probably 2.5 years ago, and I still think about it today. So,
Like
I mean,
that's
it's
the
a really good
true
one.
sign of a good book, like when you're still
Yeah.
thinking about it, or like when you put down a book and you just have to like sit there for
Yeah.
and think about it. Yeah. Okay. So that's my list of nine of the best books that I read this year. And these weren't published this year
Hmm.
necessarily. They were just
The ones you read.
the ones I read this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my list is shorter.
That's
Um,
okay.
but the first one isn't really a book. It's the Sarah J. Maas, The Throne of Glass series. So it is 7 books. So I guess mine is long, I guess, but it was 7 books and I read them in 6 months. They
Wow.
are really lengthy, but the story is the story of Aileen Galathenus, simply put. The series starts out with her being pulled from slavery by the Prince of Adarlan. He pulls her out to be the king's assassin, and the series ends with her trying to save the world and recover her right as Queen of Terrasen and Fae Queen, and well, just a whole load of other titles that would make Daenerys jealous.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of sad that this series is at an end. Like I said, I've spent about 6 months, most of the pandemic, reading them. And so, like, they've become part of me. And I've, journeyed with them through these trials and tribulations and trying to save the earth and her trying to recover her crown and her spot. We were saying, like, the mark of a good book is where the stories and characters stick with you and feel a part of you. And so, like, this series has been, part of my year of 2020. So it's a good series if you have the time and the willpower and the arm strength to hold up the books, or do it on Kindle or audiobook if you don't have the arm strength.
Yeah, but if you're looking for some exercise.
Yes, build up those arm muscles. But it's really good. I mean, it's full of magic. I don't want to say romance. I mean, it does have love stories, but it's not romance by any means.
That's not what drives the story.
No, it's not. It's, you know, Aileen, Eileen, I guess I don't know how you want to pronounce it. Eileen, she has to suffer over and over and over and over and over again to reach this end
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the story. I don't want to give it away because you really
Right.
don't know until literally the last maybe 50 pages of what the outcome of this 7-book series is. And it's got some great characters, a lot of types of paranormal. I won't say paranormal, but I mean, it has fae, it has wolves, it's got little, fae folk, so
Lots of different
witches, lots of witches, lots of magic. So, I mean, it's a good series. So I would
Yes.
recommend the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, my next book is The Trial and Execution of George Washington by Charles Rosenberg. It's a historical novel. It's the story of what would happen if there was a successful plot to kidnap Washington and to get him back to London and try him for treason. It was utterly fascinating to see Washington having to defend himself. He really actually was kind of quiet as to defending himself. He just, kind of would kind of not say nod, but just let his actions speak for himself. But he had to defend himself against the British people who saw him as a traitor. And there was also a whole lot of British citizens that were sympathetic to the American cause. There was also a supporting character that had to go to London and be Washington's lawyer and try to do this impossible thing of defending Washington, when the outcome was he was always going to be tried and hung as a traitor, and this American unknown lawyer had to go and save this figurehead,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a good novel. I won't spoil the ending, but it's an interesting book to read about loyalties and learning to listen to the other side and what they think. And it is, like I said, it's fiction because obviously George Washington never was kidnapped, but it was really good and interesting to read. A good what if they did get him over to London and what would happen. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a really fun read for me. Another one, this is a nonfiction, Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. It's his
Mm-hmm.
memoir of growing up in Johannesburg, South Africa. I did this as an audiobook, and he narrates it, and listening to his voice and just his intonation as he goes through his anecdotes, it really brings to life, his stories. His father was a white Swiss man, and his mother was an African. When he was born, it was a crime to have black and white unions, but his mother purposefully chose to have a child by a white man. So, he has these stories where it's contrasted, like his white Swiss father, these experiences with his father and his experiences with his Black African neighborhood and his grandmother and his mother. And Trevor Noah is just a great storyteller, and he's just so funny. And it's just a great book, I'm assuming, to read, but if you can get it on audiobook, it's just tremendous because he's so funny to listen to. And like I said, his voice and listening to him is just great. Okay. The last one I have is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm late in coming to the party to this. I was out of the country when the Hate You Give,
Yeah.
wave hit. I was gearing up to read this, and it was a citywide read for all of us when the pandemic hit, and you guys had to end all your programming and all that stuff. But I read it anyway. And I hate to say that I loved it, but I feel, like it needs to be read by everyone of every race,
Yes.
every age, every creed. I mean, I literally 100% of the population needs to read this. And I feel and I hope it becomes part of the curriculum for
Mm-hmm.
everybody, but I sadly know it won't be because
Yeah.
kids need to know this experience both from, those that experience this every day in their life to those who don't experience this kind of hatred, this kind of terror in their life every day. It needs to be, read by everybody. And I
Yeah,
think
I read it like 2 years ago, and I had the same reaction after I finished. I was like, everybody needs to read this book. Literally everyone.
yeah. And so, yeah, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I just
Yeah.
wish everybody
I thought
would read
about
it.
what I didn't put on my list was another of her books on the come up.
Yeah,
Like that
that
was
one would
really
be another one.
and she has coming out Concrete Rose, which is the story of Star's father, Maverick. So Star from The Hate You Give.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you suppose she feels like this overwhelming pressure? Like, every book you write better be really, really good.
Um, she probably does.
Or does she not care?
I would think it's all of the above. I mean, there probably is a little bit of pressure, but it's probably she can do this and it is part of her life. It's not like it was something out of the ordinary that she wrote.
Yeah.
The two successful books, they're not of the same world, but there's parallel worlds, so it's not like
Yeah.
it was a reach for her to write these books. And so I
Mhm.
think she probably feels a little pressure, but she probably is like, I can do this. It's no problem.
Well,
I,
yeah, that's
you know,
like when you think about J.K. Rowling, and she wrote all the Harry Potter books, and then the next book she wrote, um, was it A Casual Vacancy was next? Yeah,
yeah,
like completely different, just totally not in the same world at all. So maybe one day if Angie Thomas writes from a different world, like that'll be a little more difficult.
yeah,
Yeah, but Angie Thomas, here if we are a fan of any authors on this podcast, it is Angie Thomas and Sarah J. Maas.
yes, agree.
Mm-hmm.
I would, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
so there they are, our best books. We should maybe
Yes,
provide a
that's a
written
good,
list
that
somewhere.
was a good list. Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's a good list.
yeah.
Um,
Well done, us.
yeah, yeah. So my next list that I have is television shows. I don't know what
Yeah,
else you had. You have
no, that
television.
was mine too.
Okay, so my list is not as long. I only have three
Okay.
because I don't have like a Goodreads for TV.
No, I feel
So
like there needs to be that.
there probably is somewhere that we just don't know about it.
Yeah,
Um, so I had to use my brain and like try to remember what I had watched this year, which was admittedly a lot. What else have we been doing? So these are kind of two of them are shows that I like discovered this year and loved. And then another one is an old standby. So the first one is Yellowstone, which
okay.
I'd heard about Yellowstone, but it's kind of like it's on the Paramount network, so it's
Hmm.
not mainstream at all. Um, if you're not familiar with Yellowstone, it's not the national park, it is a cattle ranch. The series stars Kevin Costner as the patriarch of the Dutton family, and they are owners of this gigantic cattle ranch in Montana. And they don't have like people assume that they have just millions and millions and millions of dollars. They don't have like an unending amount of money, but they have power. It's kind of like a modern western. There's a lot of violence. People get killed. There are horses. The first seasons, I think there are 3 seasons now. The first season is all about land, like who owns the land, because there's an Indian reservation nearby. And so what land belongs to them? And there are developers coming in and trying to build resorts because, beautiful land and mountains for skiing and all of this kind of stuff. And so it's an interesting concept, but it's so good. So Yellowstone, the hype is real.
And is that on Netflix where you can find it?
It's not. Some of it
Okay.
is on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. That because I know I've seen it, but
Yeah,
I don't remember where
but
I've seen it.
not all of it is on Amazon
Okay.
Prime. So like you can buy it on Amazon, but I think only the first season is available for streaming.
Okay.
The next show is leaving Netflix on December 30th of this year. Hell on Wheels. This is a true
Oh,
western.
that's
I
I
just
watched that when it first was on AMC.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
I guess I just like enjoyed westerns this year.
So
Hell on
good.
Wheels. I tried watching it, like I watched some of it when it was originally on, and I don't know why I didn't stick with it. It's the story of the building of the Transcontinental Railway. Basically, I mean, basically, the
Yeah.
main character is Cullen Bohannon. He is a
Yum.
former, he's a former a former Confederate soldier,
It's yummy.
um, whose family was killed in the war, and he heads out west to get a job on the
And
railroad.
he's handsome.
He is handsome.
So
Um,
handsome.
and there are 5 seasons,
Yes.
57 episodes. So you have until December 30th to watch 57 episodes.
You can do
Uh,
it.
it's just so good, and there is
So
a lot
good.
of violence. It is very violent.
Very, very, very
But
violent.
like my sister was like, I can handle that because it's like historical violence. It's
Yes.
not like modern violence where
Yeah.
there is, like nowadays we have the law. There's like no law in Hell on Wheels.
Hmm.
I mean, they try to bring the law in, but that doesn't really work. But it's just so good. Like there are the railwaymen, the freedmen, freed black men. There are prostitutes. The Irish come in. The last season involves the Chinese who are coming from the west, building the railroad. Like it's just so good. And oh my gosh, the ending. Like,
I had forgotten about that show. It's so
yeah.
good.
Oh, it's so good. And I wish there was more.
Yeah.
Uh, there was one day where I think we watched like 6 or 8 episodes in a row. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, well, because Netflix just keeps playing them.
Yeah, they do.
So, yeah, but it's so good. And just historically, like, it's a really beautiful show. The costumes, the sets, everything, it's really cool. And now I want like more westerns to watch.
I enjoy westerns, watching
Yeah.
westerns. I do.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that about myself, but I do enjoy a good western.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like start watching John Wayne movies,
No.
but like newer westerns.
Yeah.
Like True Grit. I really enjoyed True Grit. There are other movies that have been really good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so my last television show is The Mandalorian.
That was on my list too.
And I feel like it's on everybody's list, but
Yes.
really what we needed this year was more Baby Yoda. Um,
Yes.
he now has a name.
Yes.
I don't know how you feel about that. It's
Um,
growing on
yeah, it could have been better, but it feels right
me. It
for
does. Yeah.
the universe of
Yeah.
Star Wars. It doesn't seem
Hmm.
out of place.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know what we were expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something
Like, it was,
cuter.
yeah. At the time, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really? But, like, what was I expecting? I didn't
Yeah.
have a name picked out for him.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. But, oh, yes. And then I can't wait. The final episode came out today, but I have to wait for my sisters.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up tonight. Yeah.
The Disney Plus now has this group watch feature where you
Oh,
send a link to someone and then you can all watch it at the same time. Like they just pull up Disney Plus on their TV and somebody pushes play and it plays at the same time on both TVs. So
nice.
I live with one of my sisters, the other one lives in Chicago. So we have her on speakerphone and we watch the episodes together. So we've watched every episode of The Mandalorian together. Um, and so like we can pause at the same time because only one person has to pause and like wait, so what just happened? It's been fun.
Hmm.
um but also like if one person isn't ready to watch it when everyone else is ready to watch it, that can cause some problems. But yeah, Mandalorian is just required viewing.
I think the series is so well done. It's
Hmm.
funny enough. It's tongue in cheek. I mean, the characters are
Yeah,
great. The
it's
new
another Western.
it is very much a Western because it's like the
Hmm.
wild frontier. There is no law where he's
Hmm.
going,
He's a
and
gunslinger.
he is a gunslinger.
It's kind of
There's
like
this
True Grit.
orphan. Yeah,
Yeah, it's True Grit. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm excited about Ashoka, Disney's Plus Ashoka
Yeah.
coming out. She was really good in her episode, and then like a week later, they're like, Disney Plus is doing. I was like, ooh, that's exciting because she was so good, and I was like, yay,
I've only watched a few episodes, but I've been trying to watch the Clone Wars cartoon
yeah.
because that like Ahsoka is like all over that, and so I needed to like learn who she was.
Hmm.
So I've only watched a few episodes, but I feel like I should keep plugging away through that, get
Yeah,
to know more.
you still have time till it comes out, so
Yeah,
every
yeah.
once in a while you can watch it.
And it's
But
short episodes.
yeah,
It's like less than a half hour, so
yeah. But yeah, I liked The Mandalorian and just Baby Yoda or his name. I don't want to say it and
I
spoil.
know, there
But
could be a listener out there who hasn't
yeah,
learned his name
I
yet.
think he'll forever be Baby Yoda, even though we know
Well,
his
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
You know, Baby Yoda's cuter,
Yeah.
than his name. I think
He
it's
really
just
has
what
grown
we,
this year. Like he does more.
yes. Yeah. That was number one on my list. And
Okay.
it's so good. I mean,
Mhm.
I rewatched season one before I started season two so I
Mhm.
could
Same.
reacquaint myself, with what happened because I was like, all I remembered was they were still together at the end of season one. And so I was like, let's rewatch it and remember what happened. So yeah, that was top of my list, The Mandalorian. Also, Mom and I watched Schitt's Creek, and
Uh-huh. I have not
that
watched that yet.
you should watch it. The episodes are really short and they're just super funny. I mean, I don't know how to describe them. They're, a family of four where their fortunes are taken away by the federal government because their accountant was skimming money and not paying their taxes for them. And so they're
Mm,
down on their luck and they have to move to this tiny town that they bought as a joke for their son
they
called
bought a
Schitt's.
town.
They bought a town called Schitt's Creek. Um, and they bought it as a joke. And so they have to live in Schitt's Creek. And then, so I think there's 5 seasons, and it's just this funny, wacky, eccentric family making their way,
Mhm.
somehow oddly fitting in with this weird, eccentric town and the
Mhm.
town folk. And then they find their places in the world. And it's just the funniest thing. And I think a lot of people discovered Schitt's Creek in 2020.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just, the phrases and the faces that the mom makes and the way she talks, which was Catherine O'Hara. She's
Mhm.
amazing in the series. But it's a good one. So I would recommend I would
Okay.
recommend it. The other one was Queen's Gambit. Did you watch that one?
Ooh, yes.
That was weird. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it made chess exciting and popular
Uh-huh.
because I don't think it made us all run out to like let's learn about chess and everything, but it was weird because I think it was more her personality and her life that I think was what was fascinating and kept us all like,
Yeah.
drawn through the whole series.
Like, I know how to play chess, but
I
I
don't.
I don't see pieces on the ceiling, and like I'm not a chess genius and I never will be.
Yeah.
And I don't I know how to play it, but I don't play it. It's like not that exciting to me. But yes,
Yeah.
that show was amazing.
Yeah. I was also fascinated by her clothing. I
Yes.
just loved every outfit she ever owned. I was
Yeah.
telling my mom, I was like, Mom, I want that dress. 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 She just had an amazing sense of
Mhm.
style and fashion. I
Yes.
mean, she just was on the cusp of even when she was drunk and high and
Yeah.
like,
Oh, she's
on the
snatched.
floor out of
Yeah.
it. I was like, that girl looks great. She is not,
Yeah.
if you look at a normal person hitting rock bottom, they're not looking like that. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, I think she and that show captured America weirdly for like a month,
Yeah.
but Queen's Gambit was it was fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one I have, the show was The Good Place.
Mm.
And I think that was 4 seasons. It was on Netflix, an NBC show. It's where four characters are, they think they're in heaven, the good place, but
Mhm.
really they are in the bad place. And the, I wouldn't call him, I don't know, he's called the architect, but he's really torturing them in the bad place by letting them think they're in the good place and that
Mhm.
they are in the good place by mistake. And so it's a really funny tongue-in-cheek show that you can quickly go through, and they just got a lot of positive reviews. It's 4 seasons, and it's a good show. It's got Ted Danson and Kristen.
Bell.
What's Bell? Yeah, I almost said what's her name?
Mhm.
Kristen Bell. And so they're funny. The swearing is all, the good place, and so it's all what the fork and what the shirt,
Mhm.
and so it's funny writing, and it's a lot of puns and things like that. So it's a funny, quick watch, and the writing's really good, because
Mhm.
they, like I said, they are trying to figure out why they accidentally got in the good place. And then when they discover that it is a hoax, that they are in the bad place, and then they are trying to become better people, and then they're trying to get in the good place, and just the whole sort of scenarios and stuff. And so it's a really good show, The Good Place. And so mom and I also binged that this
Mhm.
year. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, those are my shows of 2020 that we watched.
Mhm. Those are good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched The Good Place, but I mean, I might need to.
Yeah. I mean, we just had we had like a weekend where there was nothing on TV, and we're just like, well, what's on Netflix, whatever. And Netflix kept saying, like, watch this, watch this. And we're like,
Mhm.
okay. And so we just watched it. And the episodes are, like 20 minutes. So it was really, really quick to go
Mhm.
through. So,
Have you
we
tried that Netflix feature where you just click on play something and it's like shuffle play or something?
no, because I don't
I
trust
haven't either.
Netflix.
I don't either.
Because if
Like
they'll do
it's
that,
gonna
then I'll be
start
like,
playing.
no, I don't watch that. No, I don't want to watch that. No, I don't want to watch that. No, I don't want to watch
Like,
that. And I know I'll be
is it really
unhappy with
gonna help
everything.
me? Like
So
scrolling through Netflix for half an hour figuring out what you're gonna watch is a part of Netflix. It's
I'll
just
go
weird.
through my list like twice and not find anything. But then I know if I'll hit that shuffle and have Netflix pull up something, I know I'll be unhappy. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
no.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Keep
Agreed.
seeing that. And I'm like, no.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Okay. Movies? Do you have movies?
um, no,
I have two, but like again, I couldn't go to the movie theater this year.
I don't
So,
remember.
um I will say that one that I will probably add to my list is the new Wonder Woman because it comes out on Christmas
Mm-hmm.
Day on HBO Max and
Yeah,
I am so excited. Wonder Woman has been my favorite since I was very little and had Wonder Woman pajamas.
yeah,
And so I am beyond excited for the new
yeah.
Wonder Woman movie. But the other two that I want to throw out there are Mulan, the new Disney live action Mulan.
I didn't see that.
It was really cool. It's beautiful. It's it's live action, but it still looks like a Disney live action. Like it has that film quality of like you're watching a Disney movie. It's very different from the animated movie. Like the story is slightly different. It's more rooted in traditional Chinese mythology. I think it was very well done. And this is from a very white person who doesn't know anything about traditional Chinese mythology. But yeah, it was really just beautiful. And then the last one, this is on Netflix, The Holiday. Um, you should really watch it. It's kind of raunchy. It's about this girl and guy who meet each other on New Year's Eve, I believe. And no, they meet like around Christmas. I don't know. They both of them like don't really want a committed relationship, but they don't want to spend the holidays alone because of pressure from their families or like the guy is Australian and he's living in Chicago, I think. And so he can't go home, so he wants somewhere to go for the holidays. So they decide to be each other's holiday and they spend every holiday together and it's really really funny. Like the the dialogue is just really witty. um of course they fall in love, but that's like secondary. It's just a funny romance. And it goes through an entire year of holidays. So it's on Netflix. Watch it.
Okay.
Good one.
Well, then that triggers some
Okay.
memories to me. It's not things that have been out and that I've watched, but there's one that comes out today on Netflix. It's Ma Rainey's Flat
Ooh,
Bottom.
Black Bottom,
It's
yeah.
Black Bottom. It's that one. It's Chadwick Boseman's last
Yeah.
film. It has Viola Davis,
Mhm.
and a whole host of other big name actors. It was executively produced by Denzel Washington.
Mhm.
It's the play written by, or with the same name.
Mhm.
It was written by the same guy who did Fences that Denzel
Oh,
Washington did, both on Broadway and the
yeah,
movie.
what's his name?
August
August Wilson.
Wilson, yeah. That comes out today, and that's getting
Okay.
really, really big hype, and it's supposed to be really good. Award, maybe even Oscar worthy, I guess would be
Yeah.
the phrase.
How does that work? Like, are the Oscars just making like special allowances for movies that had to release on streaming services?
Well, I think streaming in general is, um,
Like,
and
now it's allowed?
it's allowed.
Huh.
And 2020 is a strange year, so I think things like how, like with Apple Plus and that big Tom Hanks World War II movie, Greyhound.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
I
Grey
need to
Goose, but I
watch
knew that
that.
wasn't it. I I would
That's a
like to
different
watch
one.
it too, but I don't have Apple Plus. But anyway, so I think they will make allowances for things that went straight to streaming.
Hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. But so Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is on Netflix today, which is December something or other, 18th.
18th.
And then on December 25th on Netflix is that new, what is that name? It's the Regency thing by Shonda Rhimes.
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton, yeah, Bridgerton. That's supposed to be really, really good. So I'm gonna check it out.
Hmm.
It's got huge names. Like I said, it's done by Shonda Rhimes, who does Grey's Anatomy. It's supposed to breathe life into new Regency romance. It's supposed to be funny. So I guess on Christmas Day, check that out on Netflix.
Yeah.
We'll see if it'll be good. I don't know. So
Hmm. Oh, something we watched this year. What was it on? It was on like a weird channel. It was on Epics. Um, oh, that Julian Fellows series. Ah, I can't think of it. I'm gonna come up with it in just a minute. Starts with a B. I'm looking it up.
okay, I was like, oh, did we look up? Starts with the B.
So Julian Fellows, creator of Downton Abbey, um, and Gosford Park, I should say.
Yeah.
Belgravia.
Oh yeah, that was good.
It was,
That
yeah.
was good. That was the beginning of the year. That was before 2020 started.
Yeah, well, my sisters and I watched it during quarantine.
Yeah.
So, that was like years ago
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah,
That
it was
was
really good.
good. That was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that it was on Epics.
Yeah. And we just happened to have like a trial of Epics at the time, so
Mm-hmm.
it worked out perfectly. Okay, I'm looking through my to read list because I'm trying to come up with like the book I want to read in 2021.
Oh, I don't know. Why are you going through that? What do you want to do in 2021? Like,
I want to go
if
to
the
a
whole pandemic thing is over, which will most
yeah,
likely be in summer, we might be let out and about.
yeah. I want to go to a movie theater.
Me too.
Like that might be like the biggest thing I want to do is go to a
Yeah.
movie theater. I don't know why that's like the most important thing to me.
That's
Um,
what I put that too.
I want my aunt to come over to our house without feeling like she has to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Um, um, I want to go on vacation somewhere. I
Yeah.
want to see a live show, a concert. Oh my gosh. I was supposed to see a show this August and it got moved to next August and I just want it to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to travel.
Yeah.
I mean, even if that's just, getting in the car and going like somewhere 3 hours away,
Mhm.
I want to hug. I'm not a big hugger, but like I want to hug
Yeah.
family.
Well, yeah, like my aunt. When I would
Hmm.
go over to her house and help her with something, she'd always give me a hug before I leave. I'm like, no hugging.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
things that we have missed physical touch and like other things like that.
Yeah. In March, I was supposed to go to Iceland, and then I obviously got pushed back because I got COVID. And then so I was like, okay, October. And then, well, then they closed all their borders to like anybody not in the EU, and then it's something like the EU adjacent companies. And so I don't even know, and definitely it's not going to be this March. And so I don't even know if it'll be next October. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I want to go places. I was supposed to, in my mind, I was going to be traveling a lot in 2020. You know, I was going to go back to Iceland and go to places in the US. I have a cousin in California I wanted to visit, and I have family and friends in like Georgia and, you know, that area, and in Ohio. And,
Yeah.
you know, and you can't even drive to those places because, you know, there's all sorts of, if you go to these states, you have
You
to
have to wait 2 weeks.
quarantine
Yeah.
when you get there, and then you have to quarantine when you get back.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it. You know, when you get COVID, you know, it's hard and you don't want to spread COVID and you don't
Right.
want to get COVID.
Mhm.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just delivered food this week to a friend of ours who
Yeah.
has COVID. She's doing
Her
better.
sister and her niece and her dad has it, and her dad's in the
Yeah.
hospital. You
Yeah,
know,
she and I had a conversation before she got sick where she was like, I've been so careful not to get my dad sick. What if he gets me sick? And that's what ended up happening.
yeah,
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 but I think they're all doing okay. She's doing better. I just had a little chat with her this morning. She's feeling
yeah,
better, but still not 100%.
yeah. She's doing better, and her dad seems to be doing okay.
Yeah.
Um, he's still in the hospital, but he's not, you know, on the ventilator, so he's doing well enough as expected for
Yeah.
COVID. And a man who just just recovered from cancer and all these
Yeah. Yeah.
surgery. I mean, like a, you know, less than a month, just,
Yeah.
you know. And it's just, you know, it's not that our family wasn't being careful. It was
Right. Yeah.
the people that were coming in contact with our family weren't being careful, or the people that came in contact with her family, the people that they were, you know, it's just,
Mhm.
mm,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So everybody stay safe, stay healthy.
yeah,
We're gonna make it. There's a vaccine. It's out there. A good
yeah,
friend of mine who's a doctor has already gotten her first dose. Like,
yeah.
so yeah,
So,
hang in there. It's gonna be
yeah,
okay.
but it's gonna get super rough before it's better for all of us,
Yeah.
you know. So just keep your eye on the prize, which will be the summer, and
Yes.
then it should be fine for better or better. It'll be better for all of us.
Yes.
Um, so what do you want to see for 2021 as a whole?
Oh, normalcy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, like, just a return to normalcy.
Well, my mom and I were talking last night, and she was asking, you know, when all this pandemic mess, you know, kind of settles down, are we going to see like a roaring 20s? And I said,
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, you know, will there be happiness? And I said, no, I don't think we'll ever be happy again. There will be a sense of contentment, and like people will be relaxing, you know, or settlement, but we'll never be happy again. I think our eyes have been open to huge rifts in the country, huge inequalities with healthcare, with race, with gender, with LGBTQIA problems. and that people, people aren't going to be happy,
Right.
we need to change. And so, even if things are settled down and there's a sense of normalcy, I don't think there will be happiness, which is terrible to say,
Yeah.
but it's going to be hard, but it's going to be 2021 and we need to get on it. And like I was saying, my nieces, it's going to be their great grandchildren who may see equality for all.
Yeah.
And that it may be 30-20, that may be a roaring 20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can hope.
Yeah. I mean, that's a grim outlook. I'm sorry. Great note
it's
to
something
end on.
Positive.
Woohoo! But I think a sense of normalcy and a sense of calm is coming. Maybe this time next year.
I'm just so tired of people like yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Let's just all stop getting mad at each other.
Yeah.
And work together.
That's what my mom said. We can't solve the big problems if we can't solve the little problems first.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we need to be kind and stop yelling.
Yeah.
Unless they don't wear a mask, right? Put your nose under that mask.
Yeah.
Well, you're still breathing out of that nose, aren't you? Put that nose under that mask. Anyway.
Like my sister said, if anything, your mask should cover your nose before your mouth, because like you can close your mouth.
Yeah, you can't close your nose.
No.
That's true. We need to have whole face masks, like a whole top, top from the top of your forehead to the bottom of your chin, like a whole. Someone needed to develop that.
I think they do have a thing like that. It's just like for hospitals. Like
well, I mean, they were saying like it comes into your eyes, like the Halloween masks. Like when you were a kid and you wore like your Ninja Turtle or whatever your Snow White, the whole like face mask.
Yeah.
But somehow have it like tighter around your whole face, but you can see through. Somebody should get on that.
Like hoods. Like we need hoods.
Yeah. But tighter, so it's not all flappy.
Oh, okay. Why don't you work on that?
Okay. Get right on it.
Okay. It was your idea.
Sure. I'm an ideas man, not a.
Okay.
That's what I do. I came up with the ideas. I don't see it through.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Mark Twain says, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Anyway.
That's funny.
It is.
All right. Well, happy 2020, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Thank you for listening to our random thoughts and musings.
Yeah.
Join us next time for more unpredictable conversations.
See you in 2021.
And I hope I do see you in 2021. Yes.
I forgot what you look like, Carla.
I'll send you a picture.
Okay. Send me a picture. Bye.
All right.